Aloha and welcome to Virtual Live at the Legislature. I'm Carolyn Tanaka, and joining me this morning are Representatives Amy Perruso from Wahiawa and Representative Dale Kobayashi from Manoa. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Well, you two, I like you guys because you are what we call here in the House the two freshman legislators. You're just finishing up your second session. I bet when you started, both of you, nobody knew we would be running into the coronavirus pandemic. So tell me, Representative Perruso, how's your community been holding up during this time? I know that you represent Wahiawa and Schofield Barracks, a lot of military there. How have your constituents been holding up?
I would say that it's been a pretty traumatic period. If I look back to the beginning of the pandemic and the impact that it's had on the community, and I represent Wahiawa, Whitmore Village, and Launani Valley. We do abut Schofield Barracks, but my district doesn't include Schofield Barracks. Many of the personnel, I would say, the vast majority of the personnel live in our community, so there is an interrelationship. But I would say that it feels as though the tension or the anxiety is easing now, but it has been a really difficult few months. So,
Representative Kobayashi, your district is Manoa. It's an older population, more established. How is your community holding up?
Pretty well. It's my community is not that, my district not so homogenous. While the majority of the district consists of Manoa Valley, which is really kind of an older residential community, I do go all the way down to the freeway and include parts of Macaulay, parts of Kaimiki, Punahou and University areas, which are really kind of diverse down there. So I think some of the economic issues, the calls I get tend to be people lower down in the district. And the more Mauka areas in Manoa tend to be a little more affluent, retired people who are kind of more concerned about the health aspects. And I get more problems with the economic issues as I go lower down in the district.
So as I said, that you were entering. This was supposed to have been your second session. It was abruptly and recessed. So what have you been doing while we've been in recess? I know that a lot of you have been having town hall meetings. In fact, Representative Amy, you just had one last night.
yes. So we had a virtual town hall. I think it was our fifth on public education and the pandemic in our community. And our complex area superintendent, a couple of principals, and a couple of teachers participated. So that was really useful. I've also been doing a lot of work. So I've been doing the virtual town halls around specific subject areas, issues for the community, trying to get decision-making parties in conversation to do problem solving. And the other main focus of my efforts has really been food and the community, right? So we recognize that with schools closed, students were going to not have access to regular meals. All of the schools in my district are Title I schools. So that means that the majority of those students are food insecure. So I work with the Department of Education to open more schools for meal delivery. And then I'm partnering with Kamehameha schools to do a ready-to-heat kind of food pan delivery in Whitmore Village. We do that weekly. So I think much of my work since we went into recess has really been community focused and kind of meeting the community where they are.
What about you, Dale? What have you been up to? Okay, Dale, I think you're muted. If you can unmute yourself.
Sorry. Okay, how's that?
Yes, welcome back.
So my first efforts have been trying to work with global contacts. My feeling was that we needed to have the best tests here available that were scalable, accurate, and I was working on trying to bring that in. So we had kind of a large effort to bring in tests from a firm in California, locally owned, Kahala Biosciences, and we're looking to fund that outside of the strictures of government. So I was working on that. That was kind of the big project, and for a lot of reasons that are somewhat difficult to understand, that was not something that we were able to do. A lot of it was based on who controls the equipment here. Following that, it appeared that that bureaucracy is going to be a little difficult to navigate. My expertise in the first place is not in any way health; it's economics. That's where I come from. So that's where I've been focusing on what we can do to recover from what is going to be an economic storm of biblical proportions that we're heading into right now. I look at all the estimates, and to me, it's they're all still lowballed. So I've been working on looking at what we can do here, which has kind of been my efforts for the last 2 years anyway. But just stepping it up, we're looking at first effort was if we could Major League Baseball had to have someplace to play. Trying to work with contacts to bring that here. That's we don't have the stadiums to do it. There's some possibilities with Japanese baseball. Some other things are just kind of more in my wheelhouse that trying to do. Maybe with some of the reduced minor league amateur draft, there might be opportunities there. So still working on things like that. Still working on the hedge funds and entrepreneurship, stepping that up, and really trying to get us on an economic footing here.
Well, let's walk down that economic road. Are you, to the two of you, are you pleased, satisfied with the way government has been handling the reopening of the economy? Amy, do you want to take that first?
I think that's still an open question because I think the pathway is yet unclear. I do support the refusal to fund the outside consulting group to chart a path for us. I think that's our job, that's our kuleana, and that's what legislators should be and can be doing right now in their districts is talking to their community, getting feedback, getting ideas, and really bringing community voices to the table. It's our future. So I think that I'm a little bit concerned that I haven't heard enough really imaginative thinking about how to move differently in post-COVID. And I do worry that we are just going to return to the status quo of mass tourism, which wasn't working for working class families before, and it wasn't working for our island. And I think that we have an unprecedented opportunity to really tap into the creativity and the capacity of our own community leaders to figure out a new direction. And I think a lot of that has to do with sustainable agriculture. I think a lot of it has to do with investing in climate change resilience and mitigation, and in public health. I think that if we use those COVID monies to create a community of care and to really invest in our institutions of public health, then we're not only going to be better off, but we're going to be a better place we'll be the center of the Pacific, of Oceania in that respect. And I think we can play a leadership role there.
And Dale, what about you? Economics is your forte. Are you pleased with the way government has been handling the reopening so far?
Well, that's it's kind of a tough question because there's the balancing of both the health and economic aspects. So as I mentioned, I'm really somebody that's an authority in one and a layman in the other. So To really say that, well, it's been too slow or too fast is really a judgment call involving both disciplines. I know from the economic side solely, if we're looking at what's going to happen if we don't open soon, it's every day it gets worse and worse. So, and that's not to say we should have done it faster or anything like that, because I'm no expert in health aspects of it. That whether that would have been a good idea or not, there are trade-offs involved. But for the economic side of the trade-off, we need to be a lot more ready to do so quickly. So because this is one of those situations where days matter, and I think the way to look at it in a long-term view is exactly like my colleague Amy Perruso was outlining, and that's really just such a bold vision that there are opportunities to change the way we do business here and to do things in a better, more sustainable, more citizen-friendly way than we had in the past. And that's a vision that I know I share with Representative Perruso, and that it's really an opportunity for us to look at this going forward to how we can do things differently and better.
Right. Yeah, I think we've only got about 1 minute left, and so I would like to end it quickly. If you could wrap it up, Amy. I know that you are a teacher by profession. Public education's taken a big hit. This in 30 seconds or less. What is your concern for public education in this COVID era?
My concern is that we won't use the opportunity offered by this moment to really rethink our priorities in public education. I think that the elimination of the standardized test was a gift that really let us think about, right?
Yes,
because
a lot of seniors yelling and clapping for that.
But I think that it helps us think about what is really important to us, and let's have conversations about that.
Right. And what about you, Dale? In 15 seconds or less.
I'd agree. I mean, I think she put it perfectly, that this is a time for us to reflect, think about what's important and where we need to go from here.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you to both of you for joining us this morning. It certainly was an interesting chat, and hope we can do it again soon. Thank you, Representative Perruso and Kobayashi. And aloha to all of you.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.